started, before we start housekeeping, which I'm really bad at remembering to do, so you may need water. I mean, you don't have to have it, you can run to the kitchen if you want at any point. And you may want a strap or a cushion or a blanket. Again, yogi's choice. If at any point you just want to run off and get them, you can during the session, I won't mind. I tell people to have a strap, and I've managed to completely lose mine. So if I'm not using one, just ignore that. I think the dog's eating it. It's the only thing I can come up with. So once we're ready, you've got loads of time. We're going to come into a lying down position this week. So we're going to start off doing quite a bit with abs, which doesn't feel very yoga, but it is. We do it in yoga classes. So just coming into a lying down position with your knees bent and your feet on the ground. Perfect, wonderful. And if you get uncomfortable, you can come up to a seated position. I honestly don't mind. And then as you're lying there, just gently closing your eyes. Just taking your awareness to your breath. So inhaling in, drawing the breath all the way through your body. Exhaling, softening down and releasing. And our theme for today, carrying on from yesterday's, is we're going to be having a look at poses that kind of work with the idea of the spring equinox. So it's the spring equinox on Saturday. So day length is the same length as night length. That was a lot of length. But this always makes me rejoice because it means moving forwards after Saturday, the days will start to get longer. Woohoo! Which everyone wants. So, and when we look at spring equinox, on a spiritual sense, it's a chance that you can set new goals if you want, and you can just get rid of anything that isn't working for you. So it's kind of like a mini little New Year's resolution again, I guess. And in yoga, we can look at that through doing some challenging poses and some detoxing poses. So it's this idea of cleansing yourself. That sounds far scarier than it is. It's not intense cleansing poses, it's just ones that are associated with it. So just thinking about that theme, and as you're lying there, just setting yourself any little intentions for what you would like to achieve in today's practice. And that can even include not having an intention. Perfect. And then as we inhale in, we're going to just do a little scan of our bodies. Just inhaling in, checking in through the whole of our body. And then as you exhale, softening down, releasing, letting go of any tension from the day. And then inhaling in, taking it a little bit deeper if you wish, drawing that breath in. And then as you exhale, just releasing and letting go. And just bringing your focus to your intention for today's session, if you have one. And then as you're lying here, you're going to just think about that intention for a couple of moments. And I'm going to go nice and quiet so that you can focus on it. And then we'll get started. Perfect. So when we're ready, we're going to start to just bring a little bit of movement in. So in your own time, you can just gently wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes. And then if it feels okay to do so, you're going to lift your feet up to the sky. and your hands up as well. You can do it one at a time if you want, by the way, as well, guys. And then we're going to just circle our wrists and circle our ankles. And this already brings in a little bit of core awareness. Perfect. And then just circling the other way. Wonderful. Breathing into it. And then we're going to just place that left leg down, foot down on the ground. And then we're going to just stretch through the right foot, pointing and flexing through the toes. Wonderful. Good. And then gently releasing the right foot down, we're going to lift up the left foot, pointing and flexing. And while I remember looking at slightly stronger poses, everyone does not have to worry about doing Warrior 3. We've done that. We'll be leaving it alone for a bit. Because that's a strong pose. So your glutes will have a break, a little bit of a break. There we go. And then when you're ready, we're going to release that foot back down. Perfect. And then we're going to just hug our knees in and just gently rock side to side, massaging our lower back. Wonderful. And then gently lowering the feet back down. So we're going to come into some little bridges. So just placing your hands either side of your body. As we inhaling, you're going to lift your hips up to the sky, stretching through. Perfect. Coming into a little bridge, taking it as high as you want. And then when we're ready, we're going to, as we exhale, softly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. If your breath doesn't work for the movement, breathe anywhere you want. Okay, so don't panic about that. And then we're going to do that again. So when you're ready, walking your feet in a little bit closer to your buttocks if you want. We're going to inhale in, soaring the hips up again, taking them as high as we want. Wonderful. Perfect. Engaging the buttocks, engaging the core. And then when we're ready, we're going to softly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Perfect. So we're going to now do a little supported bridge. I always forget the word supported. So all we're going to do is when you're ready, you're going to inhale your hips up again. And then if you want to, you're going to place your hands under your hips, holding your hips up with your elbows on the ground. If that's too much, don't worry about doing it. Okay, so you only want to come as high as you want. Perfect. Breathing into that space. And you might feel a little bit of pressure on your throat. That's okay, just gently relaxing with the head and then looking up. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, we're going to softly release back down. Perfect. So we're going to now kick it up a bit. So we're going to come into doing some dead bugs. So all we're going to do is lift the knees up above the hips. And then you're just going to lift your hands up. We'll all be familiar with this. So you're going to stretch out your left leg away. And if you want to, you're going to stretch out the right arm as well and then bringing them up. Perfect. And then taking it to the other side. Wonderful. Good. And what I want you to do is, because you might all do this quite a lot, for yoga, just take it nice and slowly. And the lower and further you stretch your leg and your arm, the harder it is. Okay, so just listening to your body. And what I want you to try and avoid as you're doing this is touching the ground with your hands and your feet. So just gently drawing the legs and arms back as slowly as you want. If you start to feel your back arching, just don't take your legs quite as far out. So we want to keep the spine nice and long so that we're really using our abs and not our lower back. Good. It's funny because I do this like twice a week And progressively, it's getting harder and harder. Fair enough, good. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to center and we're going to hug our knees in. So now what we're going to do, keeping our knees above our hips, feet away, we're going to pop our hands under our head, interlacing the fingers, making a pillow. You all know what's coming. So we're going to do bicycle crunches. In my yoga book, it's yogic bicycle crunches, but it's the exact same thing. So all you're going to do is you're going to stretch the left leg away, bringing the right knee in and lifting that left elbow up to knee and then taking it to the other side. Good. I won't really be able to show you because it's not really allowed for me to do. Ha, 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 ha. So I'll just watch. Good. And again, you take this as slowly as you want. Perfect. Engaging the core. Wonderful. If this doesn't feel good for you, maybe you've had tea, whatever, just come back to dead bug. Okay, so there's no shame. So bicycle crunches or dead bug, just waking up that core. Perfect. Lovely. Good. And really engaging the core as you're doing it. So we're going to focus quite a lot today on our abdominal muscles. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to center and then we're going to just hug our knees in, releasing, kicking your feet off your buttocks. Wonderful. And then we're going to, you can either cross your ankles and rock up, or you can roll onto your side and we're going to make our way up. Perfect. Lovely. So we're going to come onto all fours. And all we're going to do is we're going to start to stretch through. So we're going to come into downward facing dog first, if that feels okay. So tucking toes under, inhaling in. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your hips up and back, going as far back as you want. And if this feels too much, you just pop into extended puppy dog, knees on the ground. Lovely, wonderful. Perfect. Pedaling through. Now, listening to your wrists and your body, we're going to gently inhale, rolling the shoulders forwards over the wrists, high plank, engaging that core. Perfect. Good. You can always adjust in this as well. And then when you're ready, as we exhale, engaging feet, lifting hips up and back, downward facing dog. Never be afraid to move your feet when you're doing this as well, okay? Perfect, then we're going to do it again. So inhaling, rolling shoulders forwards, really focusing on using the abs, your legs and your glutes, good. And then when we're ready, as we exhale, coming up and back. Perfect, wonderful. We're going to flow through that one last time. Inhaling into high plank, holding it for just a little bit longer. Good, really pressing the ground away. We got told in YTT training, you're not allowed to say push, it's not very yoga. So pressing. And then when you're ready, as we exhale, hips up and back. Wonderful. And then gently lowering the knees, nice and wide, toes together, coming back, extended child's pose or child's pose. Perfect, whatever feels comfier for you. So this is our restorative pose, the moment of relaxing. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, we're going to inhale back up to tabletop. Perfect. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into downward facing dog once more. So tucking toes under, inhaling in. And then as we exhale, bringing the hips up and back. And at any point, if this feels too much for your wrists, just come down and give your wrists a little break, because yoga is really hard on our wrists and our ankles in the beginning. Good. Pedaling back. Now, if we feel up to it, you're going to inhale that left leg up, three-legged dog. Perfect. And then you're going to exhale, hugging it into your stomach And then you're going to inhale, lifting it back up, three-legged dog. Perfect. And then placing it back down. Wonderful. And then taking it to the other side, inhaling, right leg up, exhaling, drawing it in to the chest, inhaling, lifting it up, exhaling, hugging it into the chest, inhaling, lifting up, and then placing back down. Perfect. And then we're going to walk our feet or our hands to each other, coming into a forward fold. Lovely. And if you feel comfortable in this pose, you can lift your hands up and just circle your wrists and massaging your wrists, giving them a breather. Good. Perfect. And then we're going to walk our hands up our legs, coming up nice and slowly. Wonderful. So we're going to flow through that. So when ready, we'll be doing a little bit more with the wrists because we're going to explore chaturanga a bit more. So when we're ready, we're going to inhale the hands up to the sky. Perfect. Exhaling, drawing them down, namaste. Inhaling in. Exhaling, walking the hands down, forward fold. And then we're going to step back to either high plank or tabletop, whatever you prefer. Engaging the core, wonderful. Then we're going to lower the knees down, and then we're going to lower the chest and chin down, inhaling, Uttanasana, engaging the arms. Perfect, good. And then tucking the toes under any way you want, coming up, downward facing dog. Always coming up to tabletop or straight up, whatever you want. Perfect. Now we're going to inhale up that left leg, three-legged dog, and then you're going to exhale, drawing it forwards, walking it forwards if you need to. Perfect. So coming in to a lunge. Lovely. Sorry, I didn't make that specific, guys. Then we're going to lower the right knee and foot down, and we're going to come up to a low lunge. If this hurts your knees, sorry, you're just going to come up to a high lunge. That's it, good. And then we're going to just inhale the hands up. Perfect. And then exhaling, placing them down, tucking that leg under, and then stepping back, downward facing dog. Wonderful. So we're going to take it to the other side. Inhaling, right foot up. Exhaling, placing it by your hands, coming into a low lunge. Good. Perfect. And then coming up. Wonderful. And then we're going to just inhale our hands up. Perfect. And then exhaling, placing down. Wonderful. And then stepping back, downward facing dog. Lovely. And then if it feels okay, we're going to roll the shoulders forwards to a high plank or tabletop. And then you'll be very relieved to know, either lowering your knees or just coming straight down, you're going to come onto your forearms, either in a forearm plank with your knees off the ground or with your knees on the ground. Perfect. Good. And engaging that core. Wonderful. So we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. And you want to keep that spine nice and long, legs engaged, so gently pushing back through the heels. Perfect. And then when you're ready, we're going to lower the knees to the ground, nice and wide, and we're going to walk the hands back, coming into extended child's pose, buttocks to heels, releasing. Perfect. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we're going to gently inhale back up, and keeping the forearms on the ground, we're going to come back into a forearm plank. So gently lifting the knees up or keeping them on the ground, whatever you would prefer. Hugging the core in. Wonderful. Good. And this is really good. I'm just going to chatter away while you're doing it. Sorry. This is really good for chaturanga. Okay. And for things like push-ups, stuff like this, it's really working our arms, our core, and our back. Perfect. And then when you're ready, lowering the knees to the ground, coming back to extended child's pose, buttocks to heels. Breathing into it. Lovely. Tell you what, it was a big mistake having something to eat before doing this. I don't know if anyone else has done the same. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up to all fours. Perfect. And then tucking the toes under, we're going to inhale in, exhaling up to downward facing dog. And just notice every time you come into it, it'll feel a little bit easier. And then either walking feet to hands or hands to feet, we're going to come into a forward fold. Perfect. And then we're going to just walk our hands up our legs to standing. Wonderful. And we're going to flow through that again, looking at chaturanga. So when you're ready, inhaling, sweeping the hands up to the sky. Exhaling, palms together. You'll notice inside out and backwards. Inhaling in, exhaling, walking the hands down, forward fold. Glorious. Stepping back to a high plank or tabletop. Wonderful. Now, if you want to, you're going to chaturanga down. So you're going to start to just lower down, keeping elbows locked in. Good. Perfect. And then inhaling up to cobra, lovely. And then exhaling, hips up and back, downward facing dog. And I know you're going to hate me, we're going to do that again. So when you're ready, you're going to roll your shoulders forwards to a high plank. And then either lowering through tabletop or chaturanga, you're going to lower down. For chaturanga, you want to lock those elbows into your side, and you want to push through your heels. Perfect, good. And then tucking toes under, coming up, downward facing dog. Wonderful, lovely, stretching back. And then we're going to softly lower the knees nice and wide, buttocks to heels, extended child's pose. So we're having these little moments of rest in between, just to restore the body. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale back up. So we're going to now play a little bit with Dolphin Pose, which is really good for chaturanga, for back strength and arm strength. So all we're going to do is we're going to place our forearms on the ground. It's also very good for stretching our hamstrings. And then gently tucking the toes under, we're going to inhale in. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift your hips up, pushing into your fingers, engaging your fingers, taking your gaze to between your feet. Wonderful. Or down to the mat, so keeping your neck nice and soft. Wonderful, perfect. Now, if you want to make it a bit harder, you walk your feet a little bit closer. Okay, only if you want to. Wonderful, good. Breathing into it. And then when you're ready, lowering knees nice and wide to the ground, toes together, extended child's pose. So Dolphin Pose is fierce, it's very strong. It's also a pose that we sometimes avoid a little bit because it doesn't always fit into flows that easily, but it's really good. And then when you're ready, inhaling back up onto your forearms to just come into Dolphin Pose once more. So when we're ready, tucking toes under, and then as we exhale, bringing the hips up. What you can do, so Dolphin Pose is an inversion, and it's really good for building up to headstands. And what you can do if you want is you can lower into a forearm plank and then back up to dolphin. Okay, if anyone hates themselves. That's it, good, perfect. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that, that's it. Good. They got us do this in our yoga teacher training and it almost killed us. There we are, perfect. And then flowing through. Really engaging the core, wonderful. And then when we're ready, taking the knees nice and wide, toes together, extended child's pose. Wonderful. So we're going to do it one last time, and you can incorporate your forearm plank to dolphin pose if you want. But just listen to your body. That's quite brave because you'll feel your face going quite low to the ground. So when we're ready, we're going to come back up to dolphin, forearms on the ground. And at any point, if this gets too much, just go into downward facing dog instead. Okay, or stay in child's pose. So when we're ready, tucking toes under. As we exhale, bringing the hips up. Wonderful, good. And then if you want to, as you exhale, engage that core, just gently walking your feet away, lower your buttocks to a forearm plank. And then coming back up to dolphin, and then lowering back down. Really engaging the core. That's it, nice. Taking it as slow as you want. Slow will burn, but it means you've got more control to think about it and do it correctly. Perfect. Lovely. And then when you're ready, wonderful guys, nice. We're going to gently lower back, extended child's pose. Wonderful. Breathing into that space. Perfect. And then when you're ready, engaging your hands, coming back up to tabletop. Perfect. So we're going to make our way up standing, but we will come back to do a few more upper body stuff on the ground. But all we're going to do, if it feels okay, is you're going to gently push your hands back and you're going to come up onto the balls of your feet with your knees sticking out, if that feels okay, like a frog, if that feels okay. If it doesn't, now you can take your feet wider and you can just keep your knees on the ground and then push yourself up to standing, or you can slowly come up. So whatever you want, perfect, good. And then making your way up. Wonderful, good. So playing a bit with squats there, perfect. So now we're going to take our legs about 2 times hip width apart, if that feels okay. Wonderful, and then just pointing your toes out, and then just lengthen through your spine, gently tucking your pelvis under. So we don't want to be arching when we do this, okay? So we want to be tucking under, engaging the core. So when we're ready, inhaling up nice and tall, and then as we exhale, you're going to squat down. Perfect, good. And it doesn't matter how low you go. Really strong, guys, actually, that's really nice. Good. Doesn't matter how low you go, you want to keep your spine nice and long, and then almost imagine you're drawing your knees out. So we're really using our adductor muscles, our inner thighs. Good. Now, if you want to, staying in this position, you're going to just gently lift your heels up, coming onto the balls of your feet. Good. I'm a little bit obsessed with this. Perfect. And this is when you feel a real calf burn. Perfect. Now, if you want to, keeping heels up, you can go a little bit lower. Okay? Just listening to your body. Wonderful. That's really nice. And then holding it and focusing on the breath. So inhaling in, exhaling out. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Feeling that burn, maybe cursing me, that is all completely okay. That's allowed. Just holding it. And at any point, you can put your heels down as well. And then when we're ready, coming up to standing. Perfect. Now softening the knees, we're going to inhale up tall and then exhale, folding forward, forward fold. Wonderful. Keeping knees nice and soft. Lovely. If you want to take it, stay here if you want, if this feels enough. If you want to take it deeper, you're going to walk your hands to your left foot, to the toes, stretching down and you'll really feel the stretch. Gets a little bit intense. If that feels too much, come back to the middle. Then we're going to walk the hands back to the middle and then taking them to the right foot. Breathing into it. Wonderful. And then we're going to bring them back to the middle and we're going to inhale back up. So we're going to flow through that again. So same again, nice long spine. Inhaling in. And then as you exhale, squatting down, drawing the knees out. Perfect, good. And then if you want to make it more intense, you lift your heels up, only if you want to. Keeping that balance. This is good for balance. Perfect, lovely. You can have heels down or up, yogi's choice. Wonderful. If you want to make it a bit harder, everyone's like, no, you can gently pulse up and down, but don't go any higher than where you are already, okay? There we are, good, but you do not have to, yogi's choice. Keeping spine nice and long, wonderful, good. And we're going to hold it just for a couple more breaths. You're doing fabulously. Breathing into it. And then when we're ready, lowering heels down, straightening up, inhaling up tall, exhaling, folding down, releasing, soft knees. Wonderful, perfect. And then when we're ready, bending the knees, we're going to softly inhale back up. Wonderful. So we're going to now turn this right toe to face the front, and then we're going to gently bend that knee, and we're going to inhale into warrior two. Very familiar with warrior two. Perfect, good. And so right knee bend, it can be any leg you want. Good. Breathing into it. So from here, we're going to go into a high lunge. So all you're going to do is square your hips to the right and pivot, lifting your left heel up. Good, wonderful. And then lengthening through the arms. Perfect, focusing on that gaze. Lovely. And come out of this at any point you want, and you can adjust, you can bring your feet a little bit closer together to make it a little bit softer. And then all we're going to do is gently bring hands together and then exhale, lowering them to the heart center. Perfect, good. Just holding that stretch. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, as we exhale, you're going to step left foot to right into Tadasana. Wonderful. Then we're going to come into chair pose. So toes together if that feels okay, or feet hip width apart. As we exhale, you're going to squat down, only as far as you want. Squatting down, wonderful. And then if you want to make it harder, you're going to gently lift your heels off the ground, only if you want to make it harder. And if you want something to hold to balance, you absolutely can do. Good. Now, same again, we're going to do a little bit of that pulsing, just to really work on that strength. Get that strength pumping through. So if you want, keeping the heels on the ground or up, you're going to squat a little bit lower and then come up, but no higher than where you were already. Keeping the gaze softly ahead. This is really good for focus. I know you won't be thinking that right now. You're like, oh, what is this? It's good for focus. Perfect. And at any point, those heels can go on the ground if they're up and it gets too much. Perfect. And then when we're ready, inhaling, heels to ground, and then just exhale, half forward fold, hands to thighs. Perfect, lovely. Lengthening through the spine, keeping soft knees, so you don't want to lock them. Good, wonderful, that's nice, guys. And then we're going to go into that chair pose once more, and I've not forgotten about the lunge on the other side either. So when we're ready, inhaling in, as we exhale, lowering buttocks to the ground, hands above the head, chair pose, squatting down, good. If you get a bit dizzy or it's too much, bring your hands to your chest. Okay. And then same again, if you want to make it harder, you're going to lift your heels up. Only if you want, and then gently pulse. If that's too much, you keep your heels on the ground, and then same again, gently lowering and lifting if you want. So these are variations for how hard you want to make it. Good. Breathing into it. Perfect. Lovely. I feel like a bit of a class instructor actually. Good. And then when we're ready, wonderful. We're going to gently place the heels down and then fold forwards, half forward fold. Wonderful. When we do this, I want to really lengthen through the spine so we're still engaging that core and keeping soft knees, not pushing back. Wonderful, lovely. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale back up to Tadasana, and we're going to step back the opposite leg, which is the right leg, I believe. So coming into that high lunge. Perfect. Or if you did it differently, whatever leg. Good. Perfect. And then engaging those quads. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, we're going to inhale the hands up overhead. Only if you want to, going a little bit lower, but keeping the pelvis softly tucked under, core engaged. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, we're going to gently bring the hands to the heart center, and we're going to place the hands down on one side or either side of our foot, and we're going to step back to downward facing dog, pedaling through. Wonderful, good. And then we're going to lower down to our knees, coming into tabletop. So what we've explored a little bit in the Wednesday lesson, we've looked at is side planks. So what I want us to do is have a play with them again. Everyone knows what a side plank is. What I want us to do is you can either do it with your knee on the ground, or you can do it with your knees off. So we're just going to have fun with it and focus on that strength, because we've woken up our core, our back and our legs, which is what we want to use. So all we're going to do when we're ready is we're going to just gently stretch back that left leg so that we're stretching through the toes. Sorry, I showed you mixed messages then. I said something that's completely different. And then lowering the left toes to the ground. You're going to stretch them back, opening them back a little bit. And then if you want to, you're going to inhale your left hand up as well. Now, when you're doing this, you can draw out your right foot so that it's on a little bit more of an angle, so your right foot's going back behind you. Wonderful, good, to help with that balance. Just a little bit, good. Now, if you want to take it further, you're going to lift that left foot up off the ground, that high foot up off. Wonderful, lovely. Perfect, yeah, that's nice. Everyone's doing it, that's good. And then when you're ready, lowering that foot back down and then returning the hand down to all fours. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So everyone did that beautifully. You all found that easy. It's not easy, so well done. So we're going to do the same again. We're going to stretch back through that opposite leg. Perfect. Stretching through the toes. And then when you're ready, you're going to lower the toes down, moving back your grounded foot. Good. And then you're going to inhale your right hand up off the ground. Perfect. And then if you want to, you're going to walk back, stretch back that right toe a little bit so it's in line, so your leg is completely in line with your body. And then you're going to lift that foot off the ground if you want. Really nicely done, guys. That looks really secure. Perfect. Engaging that core. And then we're going to softly release down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play with doing that with our knees off the ground or putting the knee on the ground if we want. So if you want, you can join in or you can watch first, yogi's choice. So we're going to step back into a high plank. And then if you feel comfortable to do so, I'll do it a few times. You're going to bring your left foot next to your right, and then you're going to pivot onto the side of your right foot, and you're going to lift your left hand up. If it's too much, you're going to place that knee on the ground. Okay, so if you can see what I'm doing, good. And we want to keep that core engaged. Wonderful, nice. Chris looks like he could be there all day. Perfect. And then when you're ready, we're going to lower back down. Wonderful. Perfect. And then we're going to take it to the other side, okay? So we're not going to we'll do it a couple of times, but we don't want to spend too long on one side. And really listen to your body for this. If your wrists start to hurt, come out of it. So all we're going to do is you can either watch or join in. We're going to step back to a high plank, and then you're going to step that right foot next to the left. You're going to pivot onto the side of your left foot. You can either bring that right foot in front on the ground or on top of it, and then you're going to lift that right hand up. Perfect. I find it much harder on this side. Good. Lowering, really nice, guys. Good. Lowering the knee down if you want, and then coming out of it. Good. And then perfect. And then, by the way, you all did it. Well done. So we're going to stretch for a minute. The main thing is the wrists, because they can get quite sore doing this. So all we're going to do is come up to kneeling, and then just circle your wrists. Good. And the biggest thing with side plank is it's hard. It's really hard, but it's also knowing where to put your feet and your knees. And you've got me telling you loads of instructions at once. So an adaptation, while you're circling your wrists, I'm going to quickly show you, is you can either drop that knee down and bring that hand up, or if you find that a bit too easy, you can bring your feet here, but bring that top foot over and then lift up, and it makes it a little bit easier to balance, okay? So we're going to flow through that once more. And for those that are finding it easy, you can hold it a little bit longer. You can also actually look at lifting up that top leg. I won't be showing you it, but you can lift up the top leg if you want. So all we're going to do when you're ready is step back into a high plank. Perfect. And then bringing that left foot next to the right, pivoting onto the side of your right foot, bringing that arm up, good, popping that bottom knee down if you want. Chris, if you want more of a challenge, you can lift that top leg up. You'll probably do a little bit more glamorously than me. Good, perfect. And then when we're ready, guys, lowering down. Good, in control, perfect. And then breathing into it, nice done, guys. We're going to come back to extended child's pose. We will do it on the other side, don't worry. And just relax into it for a moment, softening your wrists. Perfect. Good. And just taking this moment. So this is really looking at our strength combined with coordination. That's what makes this so hard, is you're having to use all of your muscles, and you're having to really think about it as you're doing it. So when we're ready, we're going to come back up to tabletop, and then we're going to take it to the other side. Ironically, after doing a few side planks, chaturanga becomes a walk in the park. So when we're ready, if you want, you're going to be in tabletop, or you're going to step back to high plank. And then walking that right foot to the left and pivoting, lowering that knee down if you want, or keeping the legs up. Good. And then bringing that right hand up. Wonderful. And come out of it at any moment you want. Nicely done. Nice, guys. Good with the top leg. That's it. Good. And you play with it. So you do it for a little bit, and then you pop it down. And then when we're ready, we're going to lower. Nicely done. And then taking the knees nice and wide, we're going to exhale into extended child's pose. Perfect. Just releasing those wrists, stretching out. Wonderful. And with poses like this, we just want to have fun with them. There we go. And then when we're ready, we're going to inhale up to tabletop. Wonderful. So we're going to come into some stretching now. So we slowed down that class quite a lot just to really teach you side planks. What you'll find, you don't have to, but if you ever want to practice them at home, you'll probably find them easier not having me in your ear, because you'll be able to just think about it and do it in your own time. So that's just a little food for thought if you want to practice it. So we're going to do some gentle stretches. So if you have your strap, you can grab your strap. We're going to stretch our legs out in front. We're going to do a slightly different stretch. I'm going to be 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to grab a resistance band because that'll do it. Good. And then all you're going to do, if you don't have a strap, you can use your hand, is we're going to sit up nice and tall, and this is still looking our coordination, a little bit of abs. You can put that strap around your foot. You'll get to laugh at me if I snap it. Oh, perfect, good. And then inhaling up tall. As we exhale, you're going to gently lift that right foot up. It doesn't have to go very high. And what we want to do as we do this, keeping it in front, is keep the knee nice and soft. So sometimes when you look at yoga videos, people look very bendy and very straight-legged, but it isn't good. So we don't want to lock the knees, we want to keep them soft. If it's easier, you can pop your hand under your calf and thigh and lift it up if you prefer. Lovely, good. Breathing into it. And then when we're ready, softly releasing. Wonderful. And then taking it to the other side. That's a style of stretch that's a bit new to me. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't think I can do that. So don't worry, you're all doing really well. And then when you're ready, inhaling up tall. I'm cheating because I'm using my wall as well. And as you exhale, lifting your foot up, which you're more than welcome to do, guys. Again, keeping that knee soft. Wonderful, nice, good. Keeping the spine nice and long. Wonderful. Huge part of yoga is it gets us to think about muscles that we're not always aware of. And stretches like this, side planks, really help with that. And then when we're ready, gently lowering. Sorry, I froze for a little bit then. Good. So now what we're going to do, we're going to do a gentle little quad stretch. So we're going to do, it's called shoelace, so it's more of a yin pose. So if it feels comfortable, you're going to either stretch out your left leg and cross over your right, or if you want to take it deeper, you're going to bring that left foot in next to your hips, like this. Good. I'm not going to be able to demonstrate this much longer. Perfect. Good. And what I want you to do, it doesn't really matter if this top foot's not touching the ground. If it hurts, though, if it is really painful, you can't breathe, come out of it. So just come out completely and cross-legged. Or if you're really, really uneven, then just come out of it as well. Perfect. So all we're going to do now, inhaling up nice and tall. If you want to take it a bit deeper, we're going to walk that left hand away. And then if you want, you can bring the right hand over, stretching to the side. Lovely, good. Taking it as deep as you want. Wonderful. If it's too much for your shoulders, you can bring your hands down like that as well. So just listening to your body. So this is a fabulous little glute stretch. And it's also really good for stretching our side muscles and our back. And then when we're ready, coming back up to center. Perfect. And then taking it to the other side. Sorry, I almost got you to uncross your legs. So inhaling up tall, and then exhaling, folding over the other way. You might notice you have a preferred side, okay? And you might feel this side's a little bit easier because you're rooting down a bit more into this hip. That's okay. Perfect. Breathing into it. So this is very similar to our equal pose that we did, but it's called shoelace, and we're going side to side as opposed to forwards and back. Perfect. And then when we're ready, coming back up. Ooh, then uncrossing the legs, giving them a shake. And then if you want, you can take them to the other side. So same again, you can bring that leg over, having it straight, or you can, perfect, cross that foot. If one side doesn't work, so if one side your body doesn't let you, don't worry, just do it slightly more adapted. Perfect. And then when you're ready, inhaling up tall, exhaling, folding to the left. Wonderful, good. And you might feel, perfect, you might feel it quite a bit deeper when your legs are crossed one way. I can feel it a lot more on this side. Good. And then when you're ready, inhaling back up center, and then exhaling other side. Wonderful, lovely, good. Perfect. Keeping the seat bones reached out. It's never happened, but I can imagine if we didn't focus on the seat bones, we could just fall. There we are, good. Perfect. Lovely. And then when we're ready, making our way up. And then we're going to just stretch our legs out in front. That'll feel quite strange. Good, and then gently pointing and flexing. And then we're going to make our way down to lying down on your back. And you're just going to have your knees bent just now. Lovely, softening down, releasing your spine. And then we're going to gently rock our knees side to side, like a pair of windscreen wipers. Wonderful. And then the next time your knees come on the left, you're going to just allow your knees to relax onto the left-hand side, allowing your arms to release into the ground, palms facing up. And if you want to take it deeper, you can take a hold of your top leg, that might be your right leg, and you can draw it over your bottom leg so that that top knee is coming down towards the ground, taking a hold of it with your arm on that side. When we do this, lovely guys, we want to keep our shoulders really released into the ground. Perfect. And when we do these kind of pretzel-y poses, these tight stretches in yoga, the idea is when we've really released any tension from the muscles, we're releasing the muscles. Good. And then when we're ready, we're going to softly unfurl. We're going to bring our knees back up to the center, and then we're going to release them down to the other side, down to the right. And then same again. If you want to take it deeper, keeping those shoulder blades in the ground, you're going to take a hold of that top knee and you're going to draw it over towards the ground. Lovely. Perfect. Good. Breathing into it. Wonderful. And it doesn't matter, just like all these other poses we're looking at, it doesn't matter how you do it as long as it's safely. It doesn't matter if it's not the full pose. I'm saying in inverted commas. It just has to feel good for you, has to work for you. With yoga, we want to always work inside to out. So you want to feel confident and strong as you go into it. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, softly releasing. And then bringing the knees back up to center. And if we've done quite a lot with the back today, so listening to your body, if it feels comfortable, you can stretch your legs out to the corners of your mat, toes relaxing out. If that puts too much pressure on your lower back, just keep your knees bent, okay? And some weeks you'll find that you can just lie flat on your back. Some weeks you really don't want to. So don't worry, you can always adapt it. And you can always sit up as well if it still feels too much. Wonderful. And then just allowing your palms to face up, your shoulders to release down. And gently closing your eyes and just focusing on your breath. So those were strong poses. They took quite a lot of concentration and a lot of muscles, and you attacked them brilliantly and you all did them. So just taking these moments to release into the ground. And with every exhalation, you just allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper down. And just coming back to thinking about that theme of spring equinox, of new beginnings, of chances to plant a seed, to grow something, anything you want. And you can just think about any intentions that you would like to set yourself. And that can be yoga related or not yoga related. Just thinking any intentions. And as you're inhaling in, just drawing that intention in. And then as you exhale, just let go of anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Using this chance, using this moment to just get rid of anything that you maybe don't want to worry about. And if that's nothing, do not worry. Inhaling in, thinking about that intention, something that you would like to maybe practice off the mat, anything at all. And as you're exhaling, releasing down. Perfect. Inhaling in, drawing that breath in, exhaling, softening and releasing, letting go of any unwanted layers. And you're going to lie there for me for a couple more breaths, just allowing yourself to release and thinking about any new goals or intentions you'd like to set yourself and anything that maybe doesn't serve you. And just using this moment to reflect on them. And I'm going to go nice and quiet just for a couple of moments, just so that you can focus on them. Perfect. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to gently move our bodies. Just moving and stretching any way you want and coming back to this moment. Wonderful. And then gently stretching, wriggling the arms. And then at any point you feel comfortable to do so, you're going to gently draw your knees in, hugging your knees into your body, hugging and releasing. Wonderful. And then gently rocking side to side, massaging your body. Just feeling that strength in you, that strength for getting ready for summer, feeling nice and renewed. And then any way you want, we're going to make our way up to a seated position. Perfect. Wonderful. And then we're going to finish off with a little namaste. So just getting nice and comfortable. And then just if you want to, bringing your hands to the heart center, up to your third eye center for kind thoughts, down to your mouth for kind words, and then down to our hearts for kind feelings. Namaste. Thank you, guys. Well done. And when we're exploring poses like side planks, which you all did, by the way, brilliantly, just have fun with them. So, because there's loads of different ways of doing them, but well done. Hope you're feeling nice and energized and strong and maybe probably a little bit tired. Well done. I'll see you guys all next week. See ya.